everyone, and welcome to episode 15. Episode 15 on Young and Strong. Thank you, everyone. Hi, Golibe. I can see that you've joined. I'm going to bring you up in a few minutes. Just to tell everybody this, like I said, is episode 15. I can't believe we've done 15 of these since the beginning of the year. And I'm so grateful to all the young people that have joined me in the course of this time. Hello, Yomi. Thanks for joining us. Like I was saying, it's been 15 episodes, and I remember the first one when I came on live with Abby Sheba. And I remember that I even had to be trained on how to come on live. And it's been a journey. It's been one that I really value, one that I love, one that I'm amazed every time I talk to one young adult. You think everybody's going to come and say the same thing, but no two young adults are the same. Each one has been just as amazing as the other one. And I have just been blown away by the wisdom, by the things they have shared, with us over the course of the past 6 to 7 months. Thank you for joining. And it's just been totally amazing. And I just want to say a big thank you to all of them, all my 14 previous young adults that have been on here, both the guys and the girls. And also the parents that have come on to come and share, to come and listen, the wisdom we have gotten. Hello, Mama G. Thank you for joining us. And, all that has been happening here has just been amazing. As you can see, every time, I'm going to share a secret with you. Every time I come on this platform to talk to my young adults, there's just this joy that fills my heart. Sometimes, I've worked the whole day and I'm coming and I might be tired, but as soon as I log on to this, it's as if there's this overwhelming joy that comes because I just love every single one of them. And I'm so grateful to God for the opportunity to do this, to talk to them, to hear their views, to be able to understand how, we can continue to be a blessing and what God is doing in their lives. So thank you to all my 14 previous guests on this platform. Like I said, today is episode 15. Hi, Maiwa. Thank you for coming back, Maiwa. Maiwa was my previous guest. And I hope people go back and they listen to all the interviews and the discussions that we've had, because like I said, no two of them is the same. And I'm sure today, again, my amazing young adult that's going to be joining us today is going to be just as amazing as the previous one. So thank you, everyone, for being here. And thank you for joining us. And it promises to be an amazing time as well. So this is not a time when I don't say much. My young people say what they have to say. This is their platform. It's just got my name at the top. So I'm going to bring my young adult on. So whenever you're ready, Golibe, if you want to send me a request, or I can scroll. You see, I'm getting good at this thing. And bring you up. I got it. So I'm going today with... there she is! Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well. We finally made it, didn't we? We finally made it. Hello, darling. So good to see you. Thank you, Winston, for joining us for this episode. It's good to see you. This is my young adult for today. Her name is Golibe. I've known Golibe since you were about 13, I think. 13, 14.
13.
Yeah, so today, she's the one going to be talking to us. I'm going to just be asking a couple of questions. And she's a seasoned professional in things like this. So maybe I'm the one that's going to need help time and again. So this promises to be an interesting time. So like I always say, Golibe, please introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Hello, guys. I'm Golibe, as Aunty has introduced to you. I am a 23-year-old. I'm a journalist and a presenter, and I like to edit video. I like to use social media, and I like to present on radio. And yeah, I just feel I like to have a good time. Aunty T definitely that to the energy onto the stage. Yeah, no, she's a great force.
Okay. You're breaking up a little bit, so maybe it's because of the movement. So yes, let's make sure. So yes, that's Galibe, a presenter. Oh, I've got to tell you, she's a presenter now, but you weren't always a presenter, weren't you?
No.
What were you like before you got all that confidence? Because I remember.
I was quite shy. I feel like I was confident, but I wasn't there just yet. I was still shy and kind of, hiding behind the curtains and just like letting everyone be there, just observing.
Yeah, I remember that. I must tell you this story. I remember Kaliba's first audition with the choir.
No.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that because I get so excited when I see the transition, and I think some people might remember that when she got outside, Golibe sing, and she just burst into tears, and I'm like, sorry, girl, I don't believe in shyness, and there she is now. She's a presenter. So don't ever, when they say they can't do it, don't ever listen to these young people. They always have that potential. So tell us, Golibe, how did you get into media? Because I know a lot of people talk about it, but how did you get into media, into presenting? How did that journey happen?
I mean, it wasn't a direct journey. I definitely was going through the fashion designer route. I wanted to design clothes. I was going for little lessons on sewing things, and I was getting there. That was the route I was going to take. I was going to be a fashion designer or interior designer, one of those. But I found myself just kind of being hooked on pop culture, celebrity news, and I, for some reason, always knew a fact about one celebrity, and I would just be talking about it. And I would talk to my friends, my family, whoever they would ask. I had tea on that person, uh,
Uh-huh.
and I guess I just like talking. And I think kind of other hosts like Terrence J, Wendy Williams, Enu, I kind of fell in love with that, and then realized maybe, fashion designer might not be my calling. So I told my parents that I think I would like to go down the route of presenting. So, I gave them material that I'm looking up to. And, they said, well, if you want to do this, we have to take those steps to get you there. So we found a local radio station, not near, close to my town, and we said, can I do work experience here? And from then on, I think that just kind of took me down that route. I started presenting with them, kind of doing weather and traffic, and
Okay.
slowly built my confidence up. And yeah, from then on, it's
Oh
now.
my gosh. I mean, we should be swapping seats. You should be the one.
Yeah.
You should be the one. You should be one doing this interview, not me. I feel as if I'm on the spot now. I've got to do this properly, shouldn't I? That's amazing because normally there's always that pressure of the set things that we expect the young people to do well. In our time, you were either the traditional route of you're either a lawyer or a doctor, or you were an engineer, or you were doing one of those things, and going into presenting, and into media. I think that was quite bold, and that you had the support from your parents. And so how did you do that in university? Did you study something in particular? Because I know you're done with uni now, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I studied broadcast journalism at Nottingham Trent University. That definitely boosted my confidence so much. Yeah, no, just like entering the media world and kind of learning the different routes that you can take, whether it's print journalism, like writing the digital world, or if you want to go radio, TV, or even go from behind the camera and work in production. There's like so many roles that, I think it was really good to kind of learn the different roles and different kind of opportunities that are. media industry.
Okay, I'm just going to say I keep getting the break. I don't know whether it's yeah, it keeps breaking. I don't know whether it's the movement or because I really want to learn this. Who knows? This might be my retirement plan. Maybe I'm going to go into to media as well and all that. So let's just see. Okay, like I said, okay, for those who's joined us, while her connection comes back up, this is Golibe Gwam. She's my young adult today. I've known Golibe for a couple of years now. She studied media, and okay, you're back now. Yeah, the sound is going off and on, but we'll get you right. It's not so funny. Yeah, you're back. Okay, I was just telling them every great thing about you. Okay, so one thing I always like to find out. Hello, Didi. That's my classmate from way back. Thank you so much for joining us. And all those, OT has joined us, and all those who joined us, thank you for coming online as I talk to my young adult. This is Golibe, a media presenter. Yeah, it might be my retirement plan. I'm learning. So tell me, as a young person, I mean, and in these times, what has it been like? What do you think? And I like especially that you're in the media world and you get to see more and you get to have to look into more. What do you think it's like for young people in these times? You know, what are the kind of pressures? What are the kind of challenges they're going through at this time?
Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a mix of different pressures out there, whether to know that you're on the right path of what you want to do, whether you're getting pressure from your parents or from your peers and you don't really know the route that you want to take. And I feel like we're slowly kind of understanding that we still have a lot of time and there are plenty of opportunities, plenty of routes that we can take, not just the traditional lawyer, engineer, or like doctor. That's why there's so many different routes that we can take. I think we're slowly understanding that.
Okay, and do you think do you think the young people are getting pressure about what they should do with their lives? Is that, I know there's sometimes when I ask, they talk about the pressure from social media, there's the pressure from that, but is there the pressure as to what to do with your life?
I do think it has become, I wouldn't say easier, the pressure has lifted off a bit from now than a couple of years ago. Only just because I feel like we're becoming more flexible, and generation is definitely one of those ones where we take on different roles. So if we don't like our 9 to 5 job, it's not the end of the world. We can shift to another job or find like a freelance gig, part-time gig. Whereas I think years before, if you had a job and you got into it, you're going to stay there for a very long time before you maybe feel comfortable to say no and say happy. But yeah, I do think there's a slight shift, so that's become like helpful with our generation.
There's a lot of flexibility. I'm just going to ask for those who are listening to us, is the sound okay? I know there's still that coming on and off. There's an echo. Okay, somebody sounds like there's another device bouncing back the sound. Yeah, it seems as if it's cutting on and off. I'm not sure why that is happening.
Find another place. I'm coming.
Okay, that's fine. We'll get it. Thanks everyone that's with us. Okay, well, it's just me. Just admire me while it's just me on there for a little while. So what you were saying was, and the question I asked was, is there some pressure for young people about what to do with their lives? Because for those of us who know, who are more of the older generation, during our times, there was like the pressures of this is what you're supposed to do and that is what you're supposed to do. And it was more of the traditional routes. But now, yeah, she's my guest is going to come back in. Don't worry, you're not just stuck with me, because some people are wondering, this wasn't what you planned. She's just going to find somewhere else where she's got a better connection, and then she's going to come back in. So don't go anywhere. And we're just talking about the fact that nowadays, unlike before, where you got into a job and you were like, oh, I've got to stay there for a long time. Young people, yeah, let's see if I can bring her up now, and I hope we get a better connection now. All right, let's see. Come on, girl. Okay. Yeah, I admire my beautiful face. That's why. How are we doing now, Golibe? Can you still hear me clearly?
I can hear you good. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hopefully, our sound will be better now.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, so you were saying that like before we used to have that time when we would stay in a job, you know, people would just stay there. But now your generation recognizes that if you don't like it, you can move.
Definitely. I feel like we've got more options to kind of go into different career paths, whether it's if you're starting out in media and then you don't like it, you can go to PR, or you can go into what's the word? I wouldn't say directly law, but there's like other things you can do. Everyone's kind of open. Like you've got transferable skills, or your passion might be in something else that you like, and then take an interest in that, and if you have the experience or kind of the energy to take that step further, then I'm thinking you're okay to a new lease.
Move around. Okay, okay. That's the professional part of things. What about young people as young people? Just how handling life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? How is it like handling life? Because there's a lot of pressures coming even from what we're doing now, just from social media and all that. What kind of, before I say how to handle, what kind of those pressures are coming to young people these days? What are they, what is it like being young in these days? I wish I knew, but I'm not that young anymore.
I feel like it's a constant roller coaster, to be honest. We're forever going up and down, up and down. And once everything's good, we're like in a good steady pace. And then there's something new that takes you down or takes you up. I feel like there's always something new coming on. So with social media, we've advanced a lot. And there's so many good things about social media, but also a lot of negative. With the whole comparison, comparing yourself to someone who might be doing a little bit better than you, or you feel someone that you like you're following, you're like, oh, I want their life, or how can I make my life better? I think it's always a constant battle with something that's coming new, or something that's been existing for a very long time. We just manage to overcome it in a certain way, or kind of learning and understanding how to deal with it better. For example, I feel like with mental health, that's always been a thing present with young people. But recently, we started to understand it more, have more conversations, have campaigns about it, kind of say, all right, well, how do we improve? How do we do better? And I think that's one good pick that's going on, that we're taking mental health seriously and kind of looking after ourselves. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just ask a little bit about mental health, because that is quite big, and it manifests in different ways. When we talk about mental health in young people, what are the kind of things really that we see, or what are the kind of things that are bringing about, why we're seeing, if you know, I mean, I know this is not your professional field, but as a young person and maybe in your friends and all that, what are the kind of things that we're seeing that are manifesting in terms of mental health?
Definitely. I feel like mental health is very close to my heart. I feel like for me, I feel like the main things that we see is either depression, um, eating disorders, peer pressure, the pressure of comparisons, and kind of feeling like you're not good enough, or you're not gonna do well and succeed in whatever you're trying to succeed in. And those things building up, it just kind of takes a load on that individual. And I think before people didn't really understand or take mental health seriously. It was more of a thing where, oh, you're just feeling that type of way. It's a phase. You'll be fine. You just need to like be okay. But it's more than that. It's deeper. It's a deeper thing. So, I think the fact that we've started to understand it and taking steps to help people that are struggling is a very good sign, and I think it can only go up from there. So, yeah.
And I mean, and as young people, when we're going through all these pressures and these things are happening, who do young people talk to? Who are they comfortable talking to? Who are you guys comfortable talking to?
I have to admit, I wouldn't say for all. I'm just gonna say the majority that I know, and for myself, I wasn't comfortable talking to my parents at I would definitely say maybe a friend or maybe someone who doesn't really know you. I found that kind of easier for me. Someone who didn't know me personally, and then kind of got the strength to either speak to a school counselor and then talk to my parents. So I feel like there's always like a circle of either your friends or someone you're not really close to, or maybe like a cousin, and then school, and then last resort is your parents.
Why? What have we done?
I feel like because I feel like there's a few reasons why. For me, I think it's the reason of how close my parents and I are, that I just don't want to bring that burden to them or seem like a disappointment in their eyes. And then also a mix with traditional backgrounds where African Black parents not really knowing how to handle those conversations. I'm lucky enough that my parents were okay and good at handling those discussions, but there was still something inside me that didn't go to them straight away. I think it just depends whether you're comfortable enough to kind of being vulnerable like that in front of parents, or if you want to kind of speak to some people first and then get the courage and then speak to. It's like a build up, you know. Yeah.
Okay, so is it that when it really gets to that critical point that we're like, okay, well, we've got to tell mom and dad now, or is it when it's just a last resort, that's when you like, okay, let's take this to mom and dad. And is there any way that you think that we can improve that in terms of getting young people to talk to us as parents?
Yeah, no, I think it can be either one. Like you can either wait till the last minute and realize, okay, I need to talk to them and tell them what's going on with me, or it can just be I just need a bit of time. I'm okay, or like good enough to speak out, then I will. I feel like it just depends on the individual. Whereas how parents can help, I just think it's just bringing those conversations up and kind of letting them know that this is something that happens to not just one person or not a group. It happens to everyone, and there's certain ways you can deal with them and how you can approach it. And I think once parents start to understand or kind of see the signals, I think it'll be very much easier to talk to your parents straight away, or like say, mum, dad, I need help. Mum and dad, what's going on? Help me.
So we need to see what are the signals? I mean, I'm a bit clueless at the moment. What am I supposed to look out for?
I don't know, if your child being distant, if you've seen like a rapid change in behavior between your child and like maybe if they're still in school and there's something like spiked up, or I don't know, I just feel like there's always little signs
That we can see.
Yeah, like little breadcrumbs, because they might not be saying help me now, but they're kind of hinting to you that there's something going on.
Okay. But do you think that comes from having already had a relationship with your parents? Because if your parents don't know you,
Hmm.
will they know what to look out for? Will they know when you've changed? Will they know when something is not right? So up to an extent, there's got to be that relationship with it between you and your parents, shouldn't there?
Yes, yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Okay. What do you think? Do you think, I mean, that parents should tell you, I mean, we care about you guys, all right? But you guys have opinions as well. So
Mhm.
when we're asking, yeah, you have opinions. The parents on here will agree with me that the children have opinions. So do you think we should tell you why we want you to do stuff? Can't we just say, look, I know what I'm asking you to do. Just be an obedient child and go ahead and do it. Do we have to give you the reasons?
I would like to know the reasons. Yes, I feel like maybe when we're younger, not really making big decisions, then okay, we can be obedient and tell me what to do. But as we get older, we need to know the reasons and the whys and what's behind this, because we're also making decisions for us, our lives, like for ourselves, going to impact our future. And I feel like having that discussion with your parents, knowing what they want for you, but also what you want for yourself, and the same page and work from there. So I definitely think knowing the actions behind the meanings behind actions is like great. Yeah.
Okay, so we should tell you, okay, do this, and this is why I'm asking you to do this. That especially when do you think especially when you're older,
Yes.
not when you're younger, like you said, the older you are, the more you can contribute to whatever the discussion is or whatever the opinion you want to give or whatever the choice is. If you can make a choice for yourself, then if we're asking you to make that choice, we kind of like should tell you why we think, oh, you kids, man. Why?
We got
Why you think, well, you're all going to be parents. Okay, we'll try. And do you think your parents should be vulnerable with you? Should they tell you about the mistakes they've made as well? Do you think it helps? Or are you guys going to use it against us?
no, I mean, we might. Who knows? One day we might bring it up, but no, I feel like it
Oh,
is.
hang on. What do you mean one day you will bring it? What do you mean one day you will
You
bring it up?
never know. It can come in handy. That's what I'm gonna say.
That's blackmail, Golibe. You be like, oh, mom, I remember.
Those weren't my words. Those weren't my.
Mom. All right. So, do you think I mean, this is going downhill already. Do you do you think we can be vulnerable and talk?
Yeah,
Yes, so Mama G, really? Okay. Right.
no,
One day, you see the moms are hitting up. Oh.
mum's like, really? No. It is good to here and there be vulnerable with your children because again, it just we know you guys are humans and you have been our age once upon a time, but it is good to kind of hear those experiences and have that kind of discussion with you. So it's not like we're always going to see you as our parent or as the adult. We're seeing you as you've once lived your younger self, and we can learn lessons through you and kind of grow from there. So I think it is to occasionally see your vulnerable side. And then if there's information that we could use or you learn from,
Galibe, you're digging a hole. Oh. Information you can use.
do
That's
whatever.
why we're not going to tell you anything. What do you mean information you can use? Mom, remember that what you two were. That's not the reason why we want to talk to. No, oh my gosh. You're an investigative reporter.
I could be. I could be.
Okay, so the jury's out on that, whether we should, and I guess it also depends on the child, really. I don't know whether I'll be telling you anything, but
Auntie, I can keep secrets. I can. It's just
until one day,
it's just one between us, you know. One day.
until one day. Right. Okay, but really, does it? Do you think it actually helps
It does.
if we're like yeah, you're struggling with this. There was a time when I went through that, and so do you think it helps the child as well? And then although it knocks us parents off our pedestal a little bit.
No, I think it does. I mean, for me, I did have a heart to heart with my parents near the end of uni. I was going through it. It was tough, and there was a lot of pressure to kind of just, be the best or get the best grade that I can. And after having that vulnerable moment with them, and then kind of their experiences in uni, it definitely helped and kind of lifted a bigger weight off my shoulder. Um,
Okay.
so I think, yeah, it depends, not depend, but it depends on the situation or the scenario that you're talking about. But I do think it does help to know that your parents did once live like a life before they became your parents.
Ah, okay. And I mean, somebody else said that as well, that how mom, and when they shared that with us, exactly what you said, it kind of like makes you feel a little bit easier on yourself. Because before then you're like striving to meet their expectations, aren't you? And like, they're expecting so much from me, so I'm supposed to do this and supposed to do that. So when we say we're not perfect, we didn't, like get all the grades and do all the right things and all that, that kind of like helps. Okay. Now, something I'd like to, find out was one of the young people I was talking to was currently in uni, and he was talking about that transition from home
Mm-hmm.
into uni,
Mm-hmm.
and that it is an interesting dynamic. Um, and some people make the transition well, some people don't. How was it for you making? I know you finished now, and so in hindsight, there's some things you can look at and say, ah, okay, that's what happened. What was it like for you making that transition from home into uni?
Oh, I think I had a decent transition. Um, I think for me, I've always been slightly independent from like a young age, and kind of going on to alone by myself for my school, or kind of just taking on the world by myself in a way. So I didn't feel like a massive, oh, like this is a new scene. What do I do? It was very much like the next chapter. What we're gonna do here? And yeah, I feel like it was a decent transition. I didn't miss home too much. I very much okay to be
Oh, mom.
mum.
Mm.
Like, hi, you're right, you okay? When are you coming back? I'm not sure.
So it was mom that had the transition, the
Mum,
transition blues.
uh, mum was the one. She was constantly checking on me, which I love and I adore. But she definitely missed her baby girl. So that was
Okay.
like, okay. So once he's called once or twice, I'm fine. He said, okay, I'll leave you now. Have fun. Goodbye. But no, other than that, it wasn't too bad. The social kind of life, social life. Good. I feel like you know me. I'm good with making friends. I'm good with talking to people and kind of making sure everyone is okay. Whether someone was left out, I could kind of reach out to them and ask if they're okay. So I think kind of those little independent adventures I've had when I was younger kind of helped me get ready for that moment. Yeah.
Okay. Did you observe others that didn't do well in the transition?
Oh yes, 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 for sure. Not everyone had a smooth ride. It definitely. I know people who they were very homesick, or they did it like they were guess doubting themselves whether they wanted to be in uni anymore, whether they didn't for them, whether they wanted to go home and or just stay from home study there instead of being with everyone in uni. I also know first year who kind of went off the rails a bit and then slowly calmed down, would you say, and like got their head back together and kind of worked their way through. I think everyone has different experiences. It's just kind of whether you're going to get your head straight back body and go down the route and kind of work your way through it. So it's all, I feel like it's always the outcome, the result, because you can go different ways and then come back, but once, if you're coming back to the ending, everyone's good, everyone's okay, and then that's the most important thing, the result.
The result. Okay. So, I mean, it is an interesting thing because that was one thing that got me when I was talking to this person, and they were talking about the fact that even though uni is a large place, it can be a very lonely place.
100%, yeah.
Because maybe I went to uni with friends. So when I got to uni, I was there with people I already knew. So I wasn't some lone ranger. But my understanding was some people going to uni and there's just nobody, and it can be a very lonely road.
Yes. Yeah, I went into uni knowing nobody. So it can be challenging because again, it's just you starting out fresh. You're trying to find out friends, find the crowd that you kind of work with, just figuring out things all over again. You're the new kid, like everyone's the new kid. Everyone, as I say, everyone's going through the same thoughts and process as you, but still some people take it differently than others. So yeah, you try to find your ground and work your way up from that.
Okay. All right. And then I mean the hope is that at the end of it you can look back and say, yeah, well, I did kind of have the experiences, but I kind of found my way back.
Yes, exactly.
What we don't want is people who kind of, like you said, go off the rails and stay off the rails, and don't find their way back. Now, as a young woman, and as you're going through, what are the kind of things that you would tell your contemporaries now? You look around, you've been through uni, what is something, before I come to your contemporaries, let me say, looking back on your teenage years.
Yes.
Okay. And you've got quite a number of teenagers coming behind you. If you could get all the teenagers, the 13 to 18-year-olds, like we used to have, and you could have them in one room, what is one thing you would love to say to those who are coming behind you?
Oh, I think I would say everything's going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay, and don't rush what you're feeling. Something that I learned going through the years is always kind of feel your emotions. Once you like you're feeling a certain type of way, that feeling for a bit, let it all out, and then move. Because yeah, you have the right to feel those certain emotions. Again, mental health is an important thing. So I would say feel those emotions, but also everything is going to be okay. Don't too much pressure on yourself. Everything will be okay. Yeah.
Feel your emotions.
Yeah.
Cry when you need to cry. Laugh when you need to laugh.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because teenagers internalize things a lot?
I think so. Yes, and I think people hearing that you shouldn't feel a type of way when you hear certain news, or you're not allowed to cry, like someone's not allowed to see you cry. It does impact you. That's why whenever someone talks to me, I always say, make sure you feel your emotions, because you need to kind of let it all out. Once you've let all those emotions out, you can focus again. You can focus properly and start your route or your motion, your path, and it will work out for you.
Okay, because that's one thing, and I like what you just said, because I remember one of my previous guests talked about the fact that there's a lot of internalizing, and like you've just mentioned, young people. I don't know whether it's just teenagers or is it young people generally tend to internalize things. Is it because you feel that there's a front, or there's an expectation of what you're supposed to portray to the world, Do you think that's why we don't see? I mean, I cry ugly, I cry beautiful. I maybe it's my age. I don't really care anymore. But but is it that there's because there's that expectation of you're supposed to look beautiful, you're supposed to have it together all the time, whether you're a guy or a girl? Is that why we don't see that expression of emotions among
Definitely,
young people?
I believe that. You know, especially men with guys, how they have been like pressed on from early on that you shouldn't cry or you can't be soft. A man doesn't cry. But also again with women, I think for us it was more of the looks, how you look. You always must be pretty or preppy, and you mustn't speak your mind out or say certain things in a certain room. So once that's been put on you, you kind of get that wall and that shell, pretend to be that person and kind of work with that. But everyone's allowed to feel emotions. Everyone's allowed to cry, everyone's allowed to scream or shout or have their little moment. So yeah, have your moment, let it all
Okay,
out, and then you felt it, continue what you do because then you'll
continue.
see much. Yeah.
Thank you for that. For all those who are just joining off, this is my guest for today, Golibe. Golibe is a presenter, a media person. I don't know what the appropriate word is. You gotta help me out here. Yes, she's 23, a media presenter, 23. We've just been talking about young people. I mean, she's been telling us, she's been telling me a lot, well, all of us, a lot about, relationship with parents, about experiencing uni, about mental health, about a lot of things. Like I said, these young people are so full of wisdom. Sometimes I wonder, I mean, where I've been. But I mean, it's amazing what you said about emotions and what you said, because it goes back what we were talking about mental health, and it's suddenly becoming a big issue, especially when there haven't been that outlets of people being able to go out and to do stuff which covers up a lot of, we sometimes use a lot of action. And even on social media, I mean, you being a media person, there's always a lot of expression, but you're like, is this really what is going on? It sounds a bit, a bit superficial. Sometimes you're like, it can't be all that good all the time, can it? You know,
Yeah.
All right. So that's for the teenagers. Thank you. Now, what would you say to your contemporaries? What's one thing you'll be able to say to the 23-year-olds, the 24-year-olds, the 25-year-olds? What is one thing, if you could say, look, from me to you, this is one thing I would love to say to you guys.
We have time. We have.
Mm,
I've just started to kind of understand that and learn that. So I would definitely tell them that we have time. I think especially in your early 20s, you think you just finished uni, you've got to now get a job, you've got to now get married or settle down or have everything figured out by, 27. And I just feel like that's not the case. That's true. We actually have a lot of time. Like we've just started out in the world. So there's no need to rush. Like time to figure things out. And I'm slowly understanding that. And yes, there'll be comparisons with my counterparts, whether they're doing well or doing this in their lives. But again, you just have to tell yourself, we have time. So that's one of my key lessons. Yeah.
that's a good one. You've got time. And so when we talk about you having time, do you think you still have time to experiment in terms of if this isn't working, it's okay to change?
I think so. Yeah, I do think you still have some time to experiment. I wouldn't say, I don't know. I feel like we're constantly learning and constantly evolving. I know that there's some people out there who they were sure in their career path and did that career until they were 40 years old, and then they said, "This is not what I want to do," and they've changed that path and gone back to uni or gone done an apprenticeship and have changed their career path. So I think there's always going to be time. It's just looking in the future and seeing how you want to guys and put everything out. If that.
Yeah, it does make sense. It's amazing when young people talk and say, "So does that make sense?" And I'm like, "What if I said it didn't?" But it actually, it actually Does make sense. Hi, Mope. Thank you for joining us, and Harry. Yes, so you do have time. Don't rush it, and don't think that you have to stay where you are, or stay with what you're doing, because don't think you have to do it all now.
Yeah.
You can pace yourself, especially like you said in your early 20s. I mean, I won't tell you my age, but even where at my age, I think, if I want to change, what I can, like, maybe I should get into this media thing that you're doing,
Oh my God.
and and have my own radio show. I wonder what I would be saying. But really and truly, you do have time. And I think it's something that is very important to tell young people. I know sometimes I tell my team members, the young ones, I'm like, look, if you want to change what you're doing, go ahead and change it. If you don't like it, you can always come back and do this. And I think it's important for young people to understand that try it.
Mhm.
This is that you're in a good time to try whatever it is you want to try. And if it doesn't work, try something else. Somebody said, wait, the media is waiting for me. Golibe, you go to who can see up.
We can have a discussion. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
You talk about, not that I'll tell you everything, and then, like you said, one day you come and use it against me. We're not, I'm not doing that. We're not going for that. We're not going for that. We're not going for that blackmail. Yeah?
I would never. I would never.
Yeah, you say that now, you'd be like, Aunty, okay, old school. Okay, so I love that. So young people, we've all got time. Even those of us who are not as young as you guys, we've all got time. If you've got life, you can do it. But young people, if it's not working, change it. Just change it. Just do something. Do what you love. How important is it for you to do what you love?
So important. So important. Because you got to, go into work or go into where you need to go to and be happy and do your best work. Like the productivity has to be high. And if you're not happy, your productivity is not high.
Is your productivity high, Golibe, when you go into work?
It's a good level.
One
Like
day.
medium and high, she's there. She's there.
Okay, that's good. So you've told us for the teenagers, young people behind you, express your emotions. Don't keep it in, don't internalize. It's okay to be emotional. And I like that, because I think that would also go a long way in addressing, all the mental health issues, because we're not keeping it in. For your contemporaries, you young people, there is time. You have time. Do what you want to do. If it's not working, change it. Do what you love, And I think that is so important, So please don't stay stuck. Get up, do what you love. Goliba, I want you to go high. I want your productivity to be high. So let's make sure you get to that high. All right.
Yeah.
Me too, I have to go and look for my high. I have to go and look for my high. But that is so, so important. Now, you got parents, and you've got a room full of us parents. What would you tell us?
I would say listen, be there and listen. I feel like some parents are quick to say something or quick to, I wouldn't say argue, kind of, what's the word? I don't know the word I'm trying to say. They're quick to respond. And usually what they say is not what either the child wants to hear or the best way to handle it. So I would say just be there and listen, and then say what you need to say, but just always be there and listen to your child. And I think that's the thing for parents.
We should listen.
Yeah.
So we don't listen. Most of the time, we just want to say.
I feel like some parents do listen, but the listening, is it going in or is it going over your head?
Because it's as if we already know what we want to say, so we're just waiting for you to finish.
Yes.
Really? Are we that bad?
No, not everyone. not everyone's the same, but there are some parents out there that don't really listen to what their child is saying. And when you don't really listen to the words or the way the child is saying what they're telling you, the way you respond can not it's not always the right way to respond. And I think if parents do listen a bit more properly and take it in and be there, then there'll be a better reception between you and that child.
Okay, so we parents, we need to listen, not to respond, but just to hear what you're saying. Because sometimes you don't even need an answer, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're talking just to vent, just to let it out, not because you want judgments, but sorry, sometimes some things you say, we're like, how can? Sorry, how can? But do you think that you young people need to cut us some slack as well? Yes.
Okay. A
What do
little
you
bit.
mean, okay? What do you mean?
A little bit.
I'm still older than you.
Bit.
What do you mean, okay? But we're not the ones. We're not totally in the wrong here, are we? No.
And yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So it kind of like flows both ways. I mean, as parents, you want us to listen, but as young people, also you need to understand where parents are coming from. Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement for sure. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So you need to listen as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, now we're agreed. Because I was thinking, I mean, you were winning too much. I thought, come on, I mean, I'm going to score some points here as well. But no, that is what you've said is actually true. And it's important for us to listen to what you all are saying, not just to the words, but also to be able to understand where you're coming from. And do you think our listening also would involve us being able to understand your language?
I wouldn't say our language. I feel like it's the body language and the way that you're
Okay.
saying those things. I think that's what's important for the parent to understand. Not so much whether we're using slang or our language. It's more the body language and the way they're saying it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Because I learned one on my previous session,
Oh yes.
something about the Birkin bag. I
Yes.
haven't used it yet, but I found it. So I'm going to go contemporary someplace and they're like, yeah, Auntie knows what she's talking about. You know? Yeah, so I plan to be the cool aunt anywhere I go. I have to know the lingo a bit, but I like what you said. It's important for us to listen. And I think it's a good lesson for us as parents. Gone are the days where, you say it and that's it. Gone are the days where it's my word and that's it. Gone are the days where, do what I say and you don't need to understand where I'm coming from. So I think what you've said is absolutely pertinent. It's absolutely important. Thank you for saying that. I mean I'll joke about it, but I know I do understand what you're talking about. And that's one thing I love to do about this program is listen to what you guys are saying because that is the best way we can get the best out of you is when we listen, when we understand where you're coming from. And I like what you said to the young people. I like what you said to the teenagers as well. One final question. I know you're a young woman of faith. Backing bag loading. Yes, so OT. Those of us who heard that, those of us like, yes, so I'm going to get that Birkin bag. All right. I know you're a young woman of faith. How much does your faith play in your life as a young woman?
It plays a big part. It plays a big part. I do everything with God, and I'm every step I take, I'm always praying and reading the Word and seeing what's the best advice that I can get from the Bible. Plays a very big part in my life. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's good. So do you still do now as an aside? Do you still do any singing?
No. I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but I don't. I don't.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to get an alumni choir going. I'm gonna bring all of you back, and we're gonna do one album. I don't know
I
if my wife's still on here. I'm gonna get all of you, my oldies, back and say, okay, you all Aunty T one album, and because I think that was a wonderful part of the time you guys had as teenagers, and it was a privilege, just watching you. So you don't sing.
no.
All right.
But
Okay, so what do you do now? You present and you.
yeah, it's more like whatever I can help, whether it's doing announcements or helping with media, video editing.
Okay, yes. Okay.
That's more my field.
Okay. I'll let you off on that. I'll
Thank
let
you.
maybe when we have the video, we'll have when
Yeah,
we have the singing, the people singing, then you will be part of those who are going to do the music video, and I get to do, that.
yeah.
You see, yes, you see, we're already selling tickets. It's going to be amazing. They were wonderful. I miss those times, Golibe. I must tell you, I really do miss those times. When my Saturdays used to be spent, with you guys. And I must say, you have all made me proud. Every single one of you. I've had 15 of you so far, and I haven't been disappointed by any single one of you. So it's really, really an honor and a privilege. You see, Mope, thanks, Mope. See, that's another mother who say we're going to do this album. As long as I'm the one on the front cover, I'm good. Like Aunty T and, all
If
the others. And
I
I'm
then I might come on board. Yeah, if those two thumbs up, then I might come.
all right, okay. Well, thank you so much for coming. I hope you've had a lovely time. Yeah, we had a bit of challenges with your audio, but that's fine. I've learned these things don't deter us from getting in the crux of what we want to talk about. Thank you so much for the wisdom you shared to young people about the emotions, to your contemporaries about we've got time. I think it's very, very important. And to us parents to listen, because those are in the simple, wisdom doesn't have to be complicated. Wisdom usually is very simple. And when we just do these little things, we'll be surprised. One thing I'm going to be doing going forward is I'm going to be doing some mother-daughter times. So watch this space, Galiba, you'll be back. Just file that somewhere. You're going to be back. And Mama G, yeah, watch this space. But thank you very, very much for this time. Thank you for everyone that's joined us. This is the last of our first series. I'll be taking a break now. I need to go and, get my contemporary language going. And we'll be back again in September when I'm going to be getting some. I'm going to bring some of you guys back because I'm sure there's so much more we're going to be talking about. And we're going to be doing some other interesting things from September. But thank you so much, Golibe. Once again, congratulations on all you've been able to achieve. I hope one day you bring me on your radio and I can tell them some things about you that people don't know.
I'll hold you. Yeah.
What did you say?
I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would.
Oh, yeah, I'll come. I'll
Yeah.
come. I know what to say,
Okay.
But thank you for being my guest. This is the end of series one. OT, all those that have been with us during this first 15 episodes over from January to July has been so amazing. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for all the young people that have come. There's been Abby. I did write a list, Golibe. Sorry, you're going to hear all of them. I've had Abby, I've had Tony, Ira, Ore, Shanova, Dami, Emanuela, Ifelua, Ryan, Temi, Dimimu, Michelle, Mayowa, Joanna, and of course you, Golibe. Wonderful, wonderful, one amazing young people. And like I say, those are my heroes. And thank you for all the parents that have been listening. I hope we've been able to take nuggets of wisdom from our young people. We're not looking at you guys the same anymore. I'm definitely not looking at, I've got loads of respect for you guys, and all that. And I look forward to us starting again in September. Galiba, have a wonderful summer. I look forward to you doing bigger, better, greater things. I want to see you on TV. I want to see you on, I mean, Oprah's got nothing on you. I'm sure you know that. Wendy Williams got nothing on you, girl. You know, you're the next generation and you're the ones that are going to flip it because you've got not just all the skill and the talents and all that God has put inside of you, you've got God with you as well. And it doesn't get better than that. And thank you, Mama Ju. I'm sure you're really proud of this wonderful young lady. And thank you again, everyone. I can't say thank you enough. Thank you. We'll be back again in September. And for all you mom's word also, we had the last session for this series on Sunday. Brilliant. I think you should all listen to that. We'll be back again in September. Aunty T is going summer, staycation, whatever they call it. I'm going to go and reload, recharge, and come back. God bless us, everyone. Please stay safe, even though we're open now in the UK. Wherever you are, stay safe. God bless us. I love you, Golibe. Keep doing what you're doing, and all the best. Bye for now, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.